Hi everybody, welcome to our Facebook Live with Sherry Lowry from the University of Windsor. Sherry is a student recruitment officer from the U of W, and I am Kim Loback, the Director of Operations at VHS. I also happen to be a University of Windsor graduate from the class 2009. So I'm super excited to be here with Sherry and to learn more about what's happening at U of Windsor these days. So today we're going to be discussing all things University of Windsor. Sherry's going to begin by telling us more about the university and why it might be a great fit for you, sort of what's happening there and what's coming up. We're then going to have Sherry answer some of the common questions that we receive from our students at VHS. That being said, if you do have a specific question and are listening in, don't hesitate to pop it into the comment box. We'll be watching those and make sure that Sherry gets a chance to answer those before she leaves today. Without further ado, I'll pass it over to Sherry and she'll give a quick presentation on U of W. So Sherry, please tell us what makes the University of Windsor a great place to go.
Sure, thanks. So I am a proud graduate as well from the class of 2004. And so I have my Bachelor of Arts in English, Literature, and Language, and I minored in Communication Studies and Sociology. So I'm also a proud employee, having worked at the university for the last 16 years. And what's kept me there for so long is my passion for students. So I'm very excited to bring students to the university and have them if it's the right fit for them. So a lot of that is trying to figure out, what is the right place for you? And so you're starting to ask a lot of questions and thinking about where you want to go. So basically you're going to have reasons why you choose what you do. So maybe you're looking for like a certain size of university. So the University of Windsor, we actually have a 1 in 29 student faculty ratio. So we're considered a smaller school. So basically at Windsor, for every 29 students, you have a tenured faculty member. So that could be something that you're interested in, or one of your reasons as to why you're thinking of the things you do. Maybe you're looking for a certain look to a campus. So we've put a lot actually into our campus beautification. So a lot's changed since we went to school, and you'll really see that we've put a lot into green space. So the opportunity to study outdoors and really enjoy outdoor environments. We have a lot of mixture between old buildings and brand new ones as well. And just being able to enjoy Windsor weather and being outside. So that it could be another thing you're thinking about. And a lot of students are looking for certain programs. So at Windsor, we have over 200 programs to mix and match, combine together between our 8 different faculties. So depending on, again, what your reasons are, that one of those could be one of your reasons. So what were my reasons? Why did I go to the University of Windsor? And for me, it was location. So it was far enough away where I could live in residence, but I could still get home relatively easily. So depending on where you live, that could be something that you're considering.
That was one of mine, for
one
sure.
One of your reasons as well, yeah. The student experience, I found when I walked through the University of Windsor for a tour that I knew that it was going to be a place where I could get involved. I wasn't going to just be lost in a crowd of people, that I would have an opportunity to really build my resume and get experiences that would be valuable afterwards. And the number one reason I chose Windsor was money. They gave me the most amount of money in scholarship opportunities. So Windsor does have a lot of scholarships, awards, and bursaries. So it is something to check out, and it could be a main reason for why you choose what you do.
To piggyback on that too, when I applied to Windsor, that was one of the driving factors for me as well. They had a great scholarship and bursary program, and as a young student going away for the first time, it was a great opportunity to sort of take advantage of that when I had a chance to.
Oh, 100%. And I recommend everybody really does look into scholarships. It can be a huge stress relief to have that financial assistance throughout school. So where is Windsor, if you're not familiar? I'm actually from Kingsville, which is about 45 minutes to an hour south of Windsor on Lake Erie. So for me growing up, Windsor was the city, or the bigger city. But for you, we are actually a border city. We're right on the Detroit River, so we can literally see Detroit from our campus. We are the beginning of the 401. We are the 4th most diverse city in Ontario. So we are a border city, which is kind of unique to Windsor over other universities. I love the Lions. I love the Tigers. We have a cheaper cost of living in Windsor. Windsor and Essex County combined is about 300,000 people. And so we have a lot of opportunity. So we like to say we're a smaller city, but all those big city opportunities are right there. So whether it's in Windsor or just over the border in Detroit. So I'm going to kind of move on into what some of our faculty areas are. So you might know what you want to be, but if you have no idea what you want to do, there's nothing wrong with that. You can always start out in something and change your major later. We were both talking, we both did that.
I did it twice.
and that's what's great about Windsor. It is doable to be able to start in something. When I started off, I thought I wanted to be a news anchor. 6 o'clock news, went into communications, media, and film, thinking for sure that's what I would do, and I ended up changing my major into English with no desire to be a teacher, but really had no idea what I would do at the end. But it was those experiences and opportunities that brought me to where I am now. So both of our degrees actually were from the Bachelor of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences. So it is our largest faculty at the university. So in this, you're going to have 3 different program areas. So the arts, that's where you're going to find things like drama, visual arts, painting, drawing, sculpting, music, visual arts in the built environment. That's if you're interested in architecture. The humanities is where you're going to find like English, philosophy, the different languages, Greek and Roman studies, and aeronautics leadership. If you're wanting to be a pilot but get a degree at the same time, that would be a program within the humanities. And then the social sciences, so that's the home of the ologies. So that's where you get criminology, psychology, sociology. I know biology is an ology. That's like a cousin gone rogue. We'll talk about him when we get to science. So you also find communications, political science, women's studies, gender studies. All of those are within that Faculty of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. And 55% of world leaders actually do have a degree from this area. So then some people might use a Bachelor of Arts and then mix it with a Bachelor of Commerce after, or a business degree. So that's the next faculty I'll talk about, the Odette School of Business. So if you're thinking about business, you're thinking about things like accounting, finance, human resource management, marketing and operations, strategy, entrepreneurship. So you want to be a business professional. You want to be an accountant. You want to be a team lead or a manager. You want to play the stock market, you want to wear a suit, and you want to be a game changer in this world. So that is if you're interested in business. So Richard Petty, he's the former CEO of Maple Leaf Sport and Entertainment, and he's actually a Windsor business grad. And all of our Odette School of Business courses, they can lead to any of those professional designations if you are looking to be a chartered professional accountant, for example. And what business did recently too is they've combined with a program like psychology, so mixing that arts degree with that BCom all at the same time. And for every business leader, it took great educators to teach them along the way. So another faculty we have is our Faculty of Education. And so with this, there's 2 different streams you can look into. There's a concurrent stream and a consecutive. So consecutive would be doing a degree first and then applying into a teacher's college or the B.Ed program after for 2 years. Or concurrently is doing it all at the same time, where you're doing that degree option and the B.Ed all together at the same time within 5 years. So another great thing with our Faculty of Education is we do offer IB certification. So you are able to teach at any IB school in the world. So adding a global perspective to it. Next up would be engineering. So we are leaders when it comes to engineering, education, and innovation. We were the first automotive and environmental engineering programs in Canada. So we do know what we're doing when it comes to engineering. At Windsor, you're not competing for spots when it comes to engineering. The first year is a generalized year. So everybody who is in that first year is taking the same things. So whether you've applied as civil, electrical, environmental, industrial, or mechanical, and mechanical comes with aerospace, automotive, environmental, and materials. So it doesn't matter which one of those you may enter into, the first year is generalized. We also have a $1,000 scholarship for women in entering into engineering, a state-of-the-art engineering facility, $80 million worth of lab space, everything from a strong wall to wind tunnels and wave pools. And we do perform incredibly well when it comes to national, provincial, and even international competitions when we send our students out to really display what they've been learning in engineering. Okay, so moving on, our next one would be our Faculty of Human Kinetics. And so in this, our Master of Human Kinetics in Sport Management was actually ranked within the top in the world. So what does that say to an undergrad student? That would be that the fact that those professors ranked that highly are also teaching you at an undergrad level. In human kinetics, there's two different streams that you can move on into. So there's movement science, which is the more science background. If you want to do ergonomics or chiropractic, physiotherapy, the more science-based, the biomechanics of how the body moves. Or sport management is the more business side, things like the sports industry, or working for campus rec or any type of recreation within a town or a community, that type of thing. So if we were to line up the last 200 grads from human kinetics, you would actually see so many career paths. Everything from teachers to physiotherapists, doctors, medical school, running the YMCA in a local community, the marketing director for the Detroit Tigers, Windsor grad. The marketing manager for Nike in Europe is a Windsor grad. The team doctor for the Ohio State Buckeyes, Windsor grad. So HK does lead to a lot of different careers. After HK, we have our Faculty of Nursing. So nursing in Windsor is actually very big. We are building a new mega hospital, so a lot of healthcare industry jobs are opening up in Windsor. So this program is very competitive, but what it does provide is clinical experience right in the first year. So not only are you going to be learning stuff within the classroom on our high fidelity mannequins, so these $1 million machines basically are able to breathe, blink, bleed, give birth. They can die. Wow. We won't kill them in your first year, but it gives you that safe environment to experience all of those things and then go out into the community in hospitals, schools, all sorts of different settings to get that hands-on experience. Some nice things coming out of the Faculty of Nursing is we hold a 90% pass rate on the NCLEX exam. So when you finish your nursing degree, you need to write a standardized test. And so Windsor grads, 90% are passing on that first attempt, whereas the national average is about 74. So it's just showing that those Windsor grads are getting the education and that hands-on experience that they need before moving out into that exam, which puts them out into their career. And to name another grad that came from Windsor, the former CEO of Sick Kids Hospital was a Windsor grad. And then our Faculty of Science. So within the Faculty of Science, we like to say we're the destination science school. So not only is Windsor a great destination to go to for science, but the opportunities to be doing research at an undergrad level all over the world with our science profs is a huge feature. Because our science faculty, they have a 1 in 16 student faculty ratio. So for every 16 students, a tenured faculty member, which provides a lot more opportunity to be doing hands-on research at the undergrad level. So that is huge. When you want to be applying to medical schools or professional schools after, if you've been able to do undergrad research, even be published before you're done your 4th year, that is an amazing opportunity. We did just open up this fall a brand new Science and Innovation Research Center. So this is all lab space. So the ability to be able to be working hands-on, not just washing beakers and test tubes, but doing cancer research and making cancer history at an undergrad level. So science at Windsor is definitely something to be looking into. Moving on into our professional schools, we do offer a medical school. A campus of it. So we are a campus to the Schulich School of Medicine and Dentistry. So Western's medical school, it's Windsor's campus. So that possibility of doing a degree and moving on into medical school at Windsor is available. And our other professional school would be the Faculty of Law. So again, we're within the top 3 law schools in the country, and we have a social justice focus. And with that border being right there, we're able to do both a JD and a dual JD. So where you could be taking the program in both countries, allowing you the opportunity to practice law in both countries after. We also have mixed programs with an MSW or a Master in Social Work or an MBA mixed with the JD program as well. So those are our faculties in a brief nutshell. And so I'll kind of touch upon admissions, as all of them do have different admission requirements. So I probably would suggest either our book we could send you or visiting our website to look at those admission requirements. I'm sure we'll talk about that again. Next, I would also want to touch on is that money again, that free money, because scholarship money at Windsor, it's just a huge opportunity. $11 million in scholarships and bursaries is available to students, automatic entrance awards starting with an 85% average. And so what we did different this year is created a profile. So after you apply to the university, you would then fill out a profile. And the more detail you put into that is the more chances to be qualified for other awards. So definitely look into the awards website so you can see there's 800 to 1,000 awards available for first-year students. And then there's money throughout all of your years as well. Another thing I do want to talk about, let me know if I'm running out of time at all.
This is great. This
okay.
Is great. Yeah.
So student experience. So again, one of those reasons that I said that I really was appreciative of Windsor. And that's because at the end of the day, you're all going to have a degree. And so what is going to make you different is those experiences that you can talk about in interviews after. I can guarantee in no interview have I ever had did they ask, now Sherry, what did you learn in 3rd year Shakespeare? Not ever, not one time. Okay, but they will want to know, oh, I see here that you were the volunteer coordinator of a transition to university program. Can you talk to me about your leadership? Okay, those are types of questions that you're going to get after graduation. So the ability at Windsor, whether it's to do research at an undergrad level or practicums or field placements or just working on campus and just having all sorts of opportunities through clubs and sports, and library, all sorts of things that you can get involved in to start building that resume. Things like co-op and VIP, student exchange, these are all available to you at Windsor. And you'll have to move to Windsor, most likely, depending where you're from, unless you're from the Windsor-Essex County area. So we do have residents available as well. So our residences are guaranteed for first-year students as long as you apply by the deadline. And we do have everything from traditional dorms, where it's literally a square and 2 of you are in that room together, to a more private room where you have your own room to shut the door and share a washroom with just that one person that has their own room. So we do have several different residence styles available.
I lived in residence for my first year, and it was great.
It was great. What residence were you?
Alumni Hall.
Oh, so she was in the private room one. I was in Laurier Hall, which is one of your standard traditional style residences.
I do have to say, I wish I had stayed in one of the traditional ones, even though it was nice having my own space.
Yes, it is a good experience, especially in first year. It's the best place
it's a really
to
good
meet
experience.
people.
Yeah.
Lastly, I think I kind of want to talk about just athletics and the ability to, whether you want to be a varsity athlete or if you just want to have fun. You want to learn how to play water polo or take up some ping pong, do some yoga. So campus recreation is available to you. We do have over 500 academic All-Canadians, so that means our athletes are not only performing well on the field, but in the classroom as well. And 10,000 students each year participate in campus rec. So we have a phenomenal facility when it comes to being able to use a gym and our field house and all of those. But we are actually building, we're just broke ground for a brand new Lancer Sport and Athletic Center. So this will probably take a few years to complete. We have an existing phenomenal facility, but it was student voted, and so we do want to see this happen. It's going to be a $73 million expansion to our current facilities. You know, a new pool, new outdoor artificial turf, all sorts of new and exciting things happening down at athletics and campus recreation. And so lastly, I think I just want to really make note that the best way to know what is the right fit for you or the right school for you and what your reasons may be will be to go and visit. So I do welcome you to come to campus. There are several different ways you can visit our school. We do have an open house in March. It would be our spring open house. Our fall one has just passed. It was in November, but we will host another fall one next November. And then every day we do campus tours at 1 o'clock. So you are able to book a tour and come visit us. We'll set you up with a faculty member to talk to about that program area that you're interested in. And it really is the best way to find out what is the right school for you. So I do invite you to come and try us on and see what your reasons are for what you choose. Maybe watching this Facebook Live will be your reason as to why you came to visit the University of Windsor.
Awesome. So thanks so much, Sherry. That was a lot of great information. We do have a few questions that we'll jump to. And again, if anybody watching the video has a specific question, don't hesitate to pop it into the comment box and we'll make sure that we get it answered for you. Before I jump into some of those, one thing I do just want to comment on that I thought was really neat about the University of Windsor when I went there is how, I know the campus has expanded now, but how compact the campus was. So I think it takes up around a city block for the majority of cases, but you didn't have to go a long distance if you had a class on the other side of campus, for example.
It is nice. You know, it is pretty much that one city square. So to walk from, for example, a student center, which would be in one corner of campus, to our engineering building in the other corner of campus would take less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And so your classes are actually split up by 10-minute intervals because we know you can get across campus in 10 minutes. So we have expanded a little bit to our downtown area as well. That you could not do in 10 minutes, but we do provide a bus pass as well to be able to get to the downtown development.
Awesome. Okay, so let's jump into a couple questions here. So you touched a little bit on admissions, Sherry, but can you tell us a little bit more about the best place to find information on University of Windsor admissions requirements?
Yes, so I would recommend going on to eInfo, uac.ca or Ontario University Application Center. If you did ever want a copy of our prospectus or our view book, then this is a great resource as well, and all the admission requirements are laid out in a nice chart in this book. For the most part, the minimum average for some programs is a 70%, and that's looking at your top 6 grade 12 U or M level courses. Grade 12 U English is required in every program that we have. And so if there are any second science averages, for example, for engineering, science, nursing, or if a particular grade is needed in English or in math for like a human kinetics or a business program, that can be found on the website for sure. So either visiting uwindsor.ca or eInfo and Ontario University Application Center.
Okay, awesome. So we have a few other questions here, but just in case anybody has just joined us, this is Sherry from the University of Windsor. She's a student recruitment officer there and is telling us all about the University of Windsor and what you can expect if you're interested in attending this university. As a fellow alumni of the University of Windsor, it's great to have Sherry here, so we're going to dive into a few more questions. But if you do have any other questions, just pop them into our comment box. So just to add to what you were talking about different programs and the requirements, Sherry, can you tell us which programs at the University of Windsor are most competitive?
Sure.
And what the anticipated admissions averages are for 2018-2019 applicants?
Sure. So the most competitive program at the university would be nursing. So the Faculty of Nursing, they have a minimum admission average of 85%, and in that you need to have grade 12U English, biology, chemistry, and 1 grade 12U math. Then we're gonna look at a second science average of an 80%, and that's within that biology and chemistry. So the average between those two needs to be an 80 or above. And then within nursing as well as a 65 in that grade 12U English course. Another more competitive one as well, or requiring more averages and specific things, our engineering program does have quite a few requirements. The minimum average for that is a 74, and we're looking for English, functions, chemistry, and physics. And with that, calculus is strongly recommended. And we're also looking for 74 in all attempted science and math courses, but that would be excluding biology and data management. Whenever a course is recommended, it is strongly recommended. You're going to take it at university, so if you can get it in VHS, that would be a great idea, because it's going to give you that preparation that you need for whether it's science or engineering, nursing, whatever the recommended course is for. So I do always, if you can do that recommended one, you will want to do it. Sciences, they range between the 70 and the 75, and same with the concurrent education program is also very competitive. That one needs a 75% average, grade 12U English, and then depending on what the concurrent is with, would also have required courses, depending on what that degree area that you mix with the education would be. Human kinetics is another one that has a 75% admission average, and that one needs English and biology. So with a minimum of 70% in that English and biology. So those would be some of the more specific ones, whereas the Faculty of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences, that is typically a 70% with grade 12U English.
Gotcha. Okay. And regarding admissions, what are some of the crucial or key dates or deadlines that students should be aware of?
Well, the standard date that we use is January 16th. That's when the bulk of high school admissions or applications are going to be due. That's not to say that you can't apply after January 16th, but anybody who's especially interested in one of those competitive programs would need to have that UAC application in by January 16th.
Okay, that's great. And so jumping into more about student life at the University of Windsor, what are some interesting aspects of either living on campus or living near campus or the student experience? And can you tell us any more about some of the extracurricular programs that are offered?
Sure. So for this, I would really, want to emphasize co-op and that experiential learning piece, because having that experience is just so key. If your program does offer co-op, I would suggest taking co-op, like having the ability to be able to, work, get a decent wage for that work you're doing, very hands-on and within the field that you're interested in. It'll help you know if that's the career path you want to take, and you're networking and building those experiences while you're in school. And you're doing those co-op placements in each time of year. So there will be, so it's not that you're only looking at a company and how they operate in the fall. Maybe the fall is their busiest time of year. You also want to have a summer placement where you're seeing what a company does in the summer. So co-op would be probably, the biggest one that we would have that is, you can apply right into a co-op program. If your program doesn't offer co-op, things like volunteer internship placement, being able to volunteer within typically not-for-profits, working on campus or our Ignite program, and being able to get involved through leadership programs and really build your skills through clubs and societies. Even our UWSA or our student government is another opportunity to have that first year experience and then carry it throughout your 4 years.
Awesome. Okay, and before we wrap up, Sherry, are there any other last points that you'd like to share for any potential Windsor applicants that might be interested?
I think what I really liked about the University of Windsor is just the friendly atmosphere that it is. That's typically what students will hold on to when they've either met with us for a tour and throughout their degree, is that they do find the campus, the city, it is warm, it is friendly. So being able to go somewhere that you really feel like you can make something of yourself is, I think, something that I really like about the university.
Yeah, it is a great city. I like it too. Okay, so that concludes our question and answers for this Facebook Live with Sherry Lowry from the University of Windsor. As a quick reminder to everybody, if you do have any comments, this will be available for viewing long after this Facebook Live ends in a couple of minutes. So feel free to comment with any questions even after the Facebook Live is over, and we'll make sure that we respond and get you the information that you need if you are interested in applying to the University of Windsor. We also, of course, encourage you to share and like this video if you know of anybody who's considering one of the programs that Sherry mentioned, or you think that the University of Windsor might be a good fit for somebody that you know. Keep following us on social media to see some more upcoming Facebook Lives with universities across Ontario, and to learn more about some post-secondary information and what you need to know about all the different options that you have available to you. Most importantly, thank you so much for watching, and go Lancers!